Opening of the anime, we see a scene where a couple comes out of an elevator. Neither of them remembers anything or why they are here. They then follow the red carpet ahead. To find a way out, after moving for a while, they arrive at a bar, and a white-haired person is waiting for them here. The white-haired person introduces himself as Decim, the owner of this bar. He asks the couple if they remember what happened before they were here or not. The husband only vaguely remembers that they were on their honeymoon. At that point, his memory cuts off. The wife also doesn't remember much. Decim, having understood the situation, then explained everything. Why they are here. First, Decim cannot tell them about the place they are at. Second, they are required to play a game right now. Third, the game they will play is determined by a roulette wheel. Fourth, what they are betting is their lives. Before the couple could get over their surprise, Decim added the fifth rule. No one is allowed to leave here without permission until the game is over. The husband, after hearing this, hurriedly pulls his wife away because he thinks Decim is talking nonsense. But the elevator they came in doesn't work. They look around, but there is no one else besides them. They search for a long time without any results, so they return to the bar to question Decim. He calmly replies, as long as they complete the game, they will be able to escape from this place. The husband asks what will happen if they don't play. Decim advises him not to think about that. Decim then shows them the consequences of not participating. A hidden mechanism from the bar opens up, and inside there are many bodies. Decim presents a red Budo and asks them to start. With no way out, they press the button to start the game. The wheel starts spinning, and the game they will play is darts. The entire room transforms according to the game. Decim explains the rules. Each person has 7 darts, and they will take turns throwing darts at the target ahead. The winner is the one whose opponent runs out of points first. Besides, if one of them runs out of darts before running out of points, they also lose. Looking at the target board, the outer ring is the double zone, and the next ring is the triple zone. The white circle is 25, and the bullseye is 50. Unexpectedly, body parts appear on the rings. Decim continues to explain. Those are the internal organs. Both of them will experience the feeling of pain when hitting the organs in the body. The higher the score, the longer the pain lasts. After explaining, Decim starts the game. The husband is the first to throw. He hits the shoulder area, and immediately the wife feels the pain. It's the wife's turn. She hits something that I don't know, causing the husband to feel severe pain in his chest. Knowing this is not an illusion, he rushes to grab Decim to question him. Decim says, if he doesn't want to be in pain, just throw outside the target. However, if he does that, the wife will be the winner. Seeing that it's quite reasonable, the husband turns back to talk to his wife. They then continuously throw outside the target. The husband intends to let his wife wee. However, he remembers the bodies hanging up and gets startled. He worries that he will be the next one to be hung up. So in the last 2 throws, he intentionally throws at the tongue part and pretends that he missed. It's the wife's tour. She uses all her strength to throw outside, but the pain in her body makes her lose strength. The dart flies into the eye. The trust between them begins to crack. The husband angrily prepares to end everything, despite the wife's pleas, until the wife says that she is pregnant. Then he calms down. Their memories also begin to return. The husband prepares to throw outside. Suddenly, something makes him throw at the quadruple sectio. The wife writhes in pain, holding her stomach, and the deciding turn is the wife's tour. The husband doesn't show any remorse, because he has remembered everything. On their wedding day, the husband accidentally overhears his wife's friend's conversation and learns that she has a lover outside. The wife thinks he is misunderstanding, but he insists on not listening. The husband sees the loophole in this game. Because Decim only said hitting the target scores points, there is nothing else. So the husband takes his wife's last dart to throw at his own board. When preparing to finish, the husband says his wife's nickname when she was promiscuous before. The wife realizes the problem. The husband misunderstood her name with another friend of hers. All the memories are cleared up. At that time, the husband was too hasty. and only heard half of it before leaving in anger. He regrets and apologizes to his wife. Taking the opportunity, she grabs the dart and throws it. The husband hurriedly pulls his wife along the dart's trajectory. Their memories have been cleared up. They have a happy life together and get married. However, on their honeymoon, their car lost control and plunged into the sea. The dart flies straight into the bullseye. That is the heart, causing the husband great pie. The game ends with the wife as the winner. The husband begs to play a guy. However, the wife believes that even if they play 100 times, they still cannot escape, because they are both already dead. Decim explains that the place they are standing is called Quindecim. After death, people can be sent to Heave, or Hell, and Quindecim appears as a place to judge that. However, not everyone has the chance to come here, but only 2 people who die together. At this moment, the husband also remembers that he was the reason for their death. He suspected his wife all the time, and the climax was while driving. He regrets and begs Decim to save him. When he is not helped, he turns to blame his wife and claims that the baby is not his. The image of the husband completely disappears in the wife's eyes. She can only close her eyes and leave. But then the wife confesses the truth, that she loves that person more than him. She only loves him for his money. This drives the husband crazy, and he rushes to attack his wife. Decim quickly uses threads to tie up the husband and takes care of him. Decim then takes both of them back to the elevator and returns to his work. The husband's soul will be reincarnated, while the wife will be lost in the void. In another place, a purple-haired girl is woken up by someone named Nana. Nana then leads this girl onto a trolley and takes the elevator to Decim's bar. Unlike other dead people, Nana informs this girl that this place is for the dead, and then explains the rules and duties of arbiters like them. Their duty is to collect the memories of the 2 dead people. They will make judgments based on that and the level of humanity that the dead show through the games. At this time, Decim has received the memories of the dead. Nana sees this and immediately leads the purple-haired girl to the observation room to watch Decim work. On the way, Nana also tells the girl that she will be their assistant. Later, upon reaching the room behind the bar, the purple-haired girl is startled when she sees that there are many mannequins here. Nana says, this is Decim's way of persuading the dead to participate in the games. What if the dead know they are dead? They have to bet their lives on the game. What happens after that? Both of them watch the game of the previous couple, a guy. Nana believes that only when life is on the line do people reveal their true nature. After Decim finishes persuading, the 2 come to watch the dart game of the married couple. Around the middle of the game, when the couple intentionally throws outside the ring, Nana reveals. This is the moment human nature is revealed. Looking at the score, if it continues, the husband will lose, and the fear inside. He doesn't know what will happen to him when he loses. Death is the first thing that will appear. The husband is very smart when he sees the loophole in the game. However, he doesn't know if there is a rule that if he loses, he will die, so he intentionally throws it. That decisive moment, when the husband knows his wife is pregnant, but still intentionally throws it into the quadruple ring, that's when Decim's memories return. Though not clear, but it's related to their death. The game continues until the end. Nana says it's heaven and hell, to make it easy for people to understand, but for the arbiters, like them, it's reincarnation and the void. In reincarnation, they will be reborn in a new life, while in the void, their souls will drift forever. When the game ends, the purple-haired girl has a question for Decim. According to her guess, the wife doesn't have a lover, because when the wife confesses everything to the husband, she is in great pie. Purple Hair thinks if there is, it's just love. One night, she still believes the baby in the wife's womb is the husband's child. She used the baby to save her husband, so he wouldn't feel guilty, thinking he killed his own child. The wife accepted the shame to hold on to a little hope. Desong looks back at the wife's memory, and he realizes that he was also deceived. But he still doesn't understand why the wife did that. Because after all, they both died. Purple Hair says it's simply because of love. If so, the husband didn't hear that conversation, then perhaps they would have had a happy life. Nana reminds Decim again of his working style, then leaves, and the three return to the bar for Decim to make a drink for the two girls. After drinking, Nana leaves the purple-haired girl for Decim to manage, then leaves. At the elevator operator is very surprised that Nana didn't kick anyone out this time. However, Nana thinks that girl needs to learn a lot, because the problem isn't just about trust, believing that the husband is the kind of person who never trusts anyone. For someone like him to find happiness, only heaven would believe it. Not long after, a young man is woken up by Decim. When he comes to the bar, he is captivated by the beauty of the girl next to him. As with the previous procedure, Decim asks them if they remember anything before coming here. The young man only remembers he was on the bus, while the girl doesn't remember anything. The purple-haired girl and Decim explain the rules here. Like the others, both find it absurd and want to leave. The result is still impossible. At this time, the girl says she doesn't remember anything, including her name, while the young man still remembers his name is Miura. They turn to ask Decim, and he says maybe the girl will remember her name. When participating in the game, with no other way, the two press the game button together, and this time the game is bowling. The playing field begins to appear. The rules are the same as regular bowling. Each person has one throw-in tour until the game ends. Whoever knocks down more pins wins. However, the ball that the two throw is the other person's heart. Without much explanation, the purple-haired girl starts the game. Miura goes first. As soon as he touches the ball, he is startled when the heart is beating. Decim says, because it is directly linked to the heart of both of them. When Miura puts his finger in the hole, he immediately feels the warmth from the girl's heart. Regaining composure, Miura scores 8 points in the first round. It's the girl's tour. Looking at her awkwardness makes Miura's heart beat faster. The girl also feels it when she touches the ball. This turn ends when the girl scores 5 points. She gently strokes her hair, making some of Miura's memories faintly appear. In his tour, the image of a childhood friend, whose name he doesn't remember, makes him distracted and miss the throw. Even so, the two still play happily. The purple-haired girl hopes this moment will last forever. The two continue the game in excitement. As they get closer to the end, Miura wants to make a bet with the girl. If he wins, he wants her to be his girlfriend. The purple-haired girl can only sigh. After all, they are no longer alive. It's the girl's tour. In a joyful mood, as she prepares to throw, a memory appears. She remembers that she met Miura at the bowling alley. Unexpectedly, the girl knocks down all the pins. In her next tour, she continues to knock them all down because she finally remembers her name is Chisato. She and Miura are childhood friends, and they used to play with another friend. The two are very happy to meet a guy, and Decim knows something is about to happen. The purple-haired girl, not knowing anything, insists he tells her. Decim whispers to her. The purple-haired girl is shocked, because it's unlikely that the two of them will have a happy ending. In the final turn of both of them, Miura is happy because if he gets a strike, Chisato will be his girlfriend. However, once again, the memory is gradually completed. In the past, the two had a friend named Mai, but that friend moved far away, and only Chisato and Miura played together. When they grew up, Miura met Chisato again when she worked part-time at the bowling alley. He still didn't recognize her until his friends told him a surprising truth. And when they had the chance to go home on the same bus, Miura came to talk to her. And then the accident happened. Miura successfully throws a strike. But he is not happy, because he knows what is happening. He still tries to smile to let Chisato throw the last tour. When she prepares to throw, she also regains all the memories. The bowling ball rolls off the lane, and she realizes that both of them are dead because they have realized the problem. So Decim doesn't need to explain anything more. Although very regretful in his heart, Miura wants to be with Chisato to enjoy together the short dating time left. No matter what she is like, he still accepts. Decim gives them 5 minutes together, making the purple-haired girl angry and grab him. Decim says he is just kidding, and they can enjoy this last moment. The two are happy together and cherish every second. And then comes the time to part. Although regretful, they can only smile and hope for happiness in the next life. Maybe this predestined relationship can bring them together, a guy. As the elevator doors gradually close, the truth that Decim told the purple-haired girl is gradually revealed. In fact, the girl is not Chisato but Mai. The one who moved away was Chisato, because Mai forgot the time she had plastic surgery, so she mistook herself for Chisato. However, Mai still remembers who she is. At that time, Mai loved Miura very much, but because she was self-conscious about herself, she gradually distanced herself from him. But the love she had for him was still there. She had plastic surgery to become a different person, and Miura also knew that, through his friends. Anyway, the two were able to leave with smiles on their faces. The story shifts to two other people. These two are also trying to find a way out. After listening to Decim explain the rules here, after thinking for a while, then the woman pulls the young man into the women's restroom. They introduce themselves. The young man is Takashi, and the woman is Misaki. Misaki suspects this is some kind of reality show, because she is also a fairly well-known actress. Besides, her manager had some suspicious signs before. Misaki asks Takashi to cooperate, to be as natural as possible. Then both return to the bar to start the game. And this time, the game is a puzzle game. Then two AK machines appear. Purple Hair explains the game as follows. They will participate in a fighting game. Whoever wins 2 rounds first will win, and there is no time limit. Without a bit of doubt, both start the game. The suspicious thing is that there are only 2 representative characters for, namely Misaki and Takashi. Takashi's character is a scale, genuine, so the stats are very low and there aren't many skills either. As for Misaki's character, the stats are slightly higher and has more special skills. Then the first round started. Although Takashi's stats are very low, but his skills are very high. Opposite to Misaki, she doesn't even understand how to play this game. Takashi wins the first round too easily. Suddenly, Misaki's head hurts, like it's being hammered. Some of her memories also begin to appear. According to that, we know Misaki had a dissolute lifestyle since her school days. She hung out with bad friends, then got married when she accidentally got pregnant. But life is not easy at all. Takashi comes over to check on her, but she tells him to let her win the second round, to increase the drama for the show. Although he doesn't want to, he has to do it. I'm assuming this is a name, keeping it as is, observes and gently takes out something. Purple Hair wonders. Then he reveals that this is a tool used for judgment. In round 2, Takashi let Misaki go first, thinking it was easy, but he suddenly counterattacks when there is only 1 dot of blood left. Seeing Misaki being naked mercilessly, Isang used the tool in his hand to break the controller, Takashi's game controller, thereby helping Misaki win. He also experienced a headache, like Misaki. This guy's life is also not easy. Family is not harmonious. The person who gave birth to him doesn't want him to exist in this world. At school, he is discriminated against. Not long after, Takashi's parents also divorced, and his father also brought him a new mother. After letting Takashi reminisce, Misaki pulls him into the bathroom to discuss a plot. And outside, Purple Hair advises Isang ought to interfere in the game like that. Isang thinks this is the duty of a judge. He has to create difficult situations. Purple Hair thinks he is just finding an excuse to cheat. And inside the bathroom, Takashi suspects this is not a show. Misaki also had that thought from the beginning. Because they can't remember anything before coming here, except for the fragmented memories during the game. Both go out to question Isang. Then he confirms that there is no show. The reason they are here was explained by him from the beginning. Misaki starts to lose her temper and grabs Isang. If they want to escape, they have to end the game, of course. Isang used the mannequins to scare both of them before, so they wouldn't dare to stop the game themselves. Misaki is completely panicked because it's clear that Takashi's skills are higher than hers. Then he will surely win this game. But look at Isang's face. Does he care? Because this life is inherently unfair. Ai-sang knows Misaki must understand that better than anyone else. She then helplessly continues the game. The final round begins. Misaki, with an extremely chaotic mentality, can only press random buttons hoping to win. Accidentally, she activates a mysterious move. Her children rush out to gang up on Takashi. However, it only scratches a little of his blood. But this is also the time Misaki regains her composure to continue. Unexpectedly, Ai-sang breaks her game controller. A guy, purple hair, is furious because he is playing tricks a guy. But the loser is Takashi, because Misaki is no longer fighting in the game, but she is hitting Takashi in real life. She repeatedly smashes Takashi's head into the AK machine until he passes out. The memories in Takashi's head continue to rue. This new mother is very good to him, but he still avoids Mrs. Misaki at this time, realizing that he has gone a bit too far. So he asks Ai-sang and purple hair for help. He coldly replies, "Please continue the game." No matter what Misaki says, Ai-sang still repeats one sentence. There is no other way. Misaki has to continue alone. Takashi's blood bar gradually decreases. His missing memories are gradually being completed. This stepmother really loves him. She only hopes that he will call her mother once. Also, it was that word of hers that woke Takashi up. He returns to the fight. This time, his loving mother appears to help him. Both have only one dot of blood left. They decide to put everything into one attack. According to that, their memories are complete. Takashi, because he feels disappointed in himself, so he ends his life himself by trying to fly from the 5th floor. As for Misaki, because her manager delayed her show schedule, so she took her anger out on her. She was too resentful, so she attacked Misaki. Both ended in a tie. Misaki is stunned because she is dead, and her children don't know what to do. While Takashi realizes that humans don't know how to fly, Dichum confirms that both have died. Misaki wants to run to find her children, but ISMTIs her up. Her whole life is full of storms, but her children are what help her overcome everything. Yet she died without even seeing them one last time. Takashi is even more ashamed when he doesn't know how to cherish life. No matter how many times he calls mother, there is no one to answer. Ai-sang can't do anything more than hug both of them. But a final consolatio. He then takes them to the elevator, and then says goodbye to them here. This is Jimmy. His family moved to a new house. In the snowy mountains, he is always happy with the toys around him. On a day with heavy snowfall, he peeks outside, then sees a little girl playing with a dog. On the ice, the boy is immediately captivated by that girl. Jimmy is called out by the girl to play together. But because he is too happy, he falls into an extremely deep hole. Purple hair wakes up from a dream. She rubs her head and complains about having the dream a guy. She then takes a shower and changes to prepare for work. But she feels strange when in her closet. There is a set of clothes that she doesn't remember at all. How is it here? Ignoring that, she goes to Irene's bar. He is also changing the record at this time, with the image of the little girl in purple hair's dream. When she wonders, Ai-sen only knows that this is an order from Nona. Purple hair wants to ask a few more things, but maybe for another time, because Ai-sen has received the memories of the two upcoming guests. Purple hair wants to go out to greet them, but Ai-sen stops her. He feels that this time there is something unusual about both of them. Two people come here. This time it's a middle-aged uncle and a boy. Ai-sang still explains as usual, but the uncle feels that Ai-sang is very familiar, and it seems that he has been here once. While the boy doesn't remember anything, while Ai-sang is explaining, the uncle interrupts him and wants to drink something, while the boy is being taken care of by purple hair. At the same time, Nona is playing marbles, using the planets as marbles with an old ma with a beard like a lotus bud and hair like a lotus flower. Here, he reveals that Nona has been a manager for 82 years, and she has come here to play with him many times. Only about 170 times 1 years, with my encyclopedia level. Then the two have played 5,769 games in 82 years. However, he has only won against Nona exactly once, and that time was also the first time he taught her to play. Back to the bar. The middle-aged uncle has just had a drink from my sang. Then he immediately remembers everything. He immediately grabs the boy as a hostage. He demands to be let out of here, or he will kill the boy. Go Orange just asked if he knew the story of the spider's thread. According to the story, the thread was sent down by the Buddha for a sinner in hell, because he spared a spider when he was alive. Seeing this, he immediately climbed up to reach Eve. However, the other sinners saw this and climbed along, so he took it for himself. Uncle didn't understand anything, the scriptwriter either. After Go Seng finished speaking, he used the thread to tie Uncle up, then hung him on the wall. He wanted him to stop talking, because he needed to say the judgment. Suddenly, he fainted, and the purple hair behind him did too. Now Go Seng realized the chaotic memories came from the boy, ought Uncle. He immediately tied the boy up to check the purple hair. Luckily, she was just sleeping. The boy then turned into a judge. Go Ring's colleague, Jinty. He was funny, because Go Orange hadn't judged the purple hair yet. Go Orange couldn't, because the purple hair knew she was dead when she came here, and the judgment was extended. Besides, Nana erased the purple hair's memory so she could work here with Go Orange. Jinty found it even more amusing. Someone as emotionless as Go Orange actually has human emotions. Even Go Orange thought so. He agreed that since the appearance of the purple hair, things have been more full. Jinty stopped listening and started attacking Go Orange. He used water like bullets, shooting straight at Go Orange. Go Orange quickly used the threads to block them, then threw Jinty away. Jinty quickly returned and rushed straight at Go Orange. However, Nana arrived and stopped him. This time, Nana came, also bringing a guy named Clavis. Nana came here to inform Dicio that he failed the memory test from the superiors. Every time two people come here, their memories are transferred to the judges. However, this time Go Orange was attracted by that uncle and forgot. The boy's memories were not sent to him. Nana had to remind Go Orange that every human has a dark memory, and their job is to bring it to light. Then make a judgment, and without memory, there is no game. This time, she will let him off, but there won't be a next time. That middle-aged uncle was just a puppet, made by her to test him. After speaking, she woke Jinty up and left first. After Nana left, he returned with Jinty. He said it straight, the reason he came here. Today, Go Orange has to make a judgment. David calmed Jinty down. He advised him to cool down, because Luna brought the purple hair here. She will definitely have a solutio. Mentioning Nana, Jinty had no more comments. After dealing with the puppet, Clavis left with Jinty, so Go Orange prepared to receive the next two guests. As for the purple hair, Go Orange took her back to the resting room. The story of the boy Jimmy continues. Jimmy fell into a very painful hole. However, the girl reached out to help him. The two of them then had fun together, playing in the snow. Jimmy soon realized the girl couldn't hear what he was saying. Even so, the two of them could still have fun playing together. When he returned home, he learned the girl's name was Trafford, through his mother's words, whispering her name for a long time in his heart, then telling himself he would confess to her. Here, the chaotic story and the purple hair suddenly woke up. Today, we will not watch Go Orange work anymore, but go to Jinty's workplace. Today, he receives two guests, a female student and a male, famous idol. When she arrived, she immediately recognized her idol. She is Mario, and the guy is Hera. Jinty looked at Mario, so noisy like a fly. He knew he would be very tired today. He called both of them to the counter to press the game spin Budo. Mario pressed quickly without any suspicio, because it's rare to have a chance to play with an idol. This time it's Twitter. Jinty then led both of them to the game room. He explained the rules of the game as follows. The two of you will follow the commands of the spinner. The person who presses is his little cat. Both of you will have to follow the commands of the spinner. Then place a body part O, the predefined circles. If anyone has or touches the wrong position, they will lose. As soon as Jinty finished speaking, the little cat started pressing. The first one is Mario, left hand blue. Hera, right foot yellow. Both of them continued the game while Jinty took out a newspaper to read. Both of them thought it was an easy game. However, the more they played, the more they remembered their own stories, while admiring Hera very much, someone who is so handsome and talented. Hera only thought that he would finish this game to get away from her and go back to his girlfriend. Mayu was initially very happy to try all kinds of poses with Hera, but gradually, she got tired. She called Jinty to ask for a break, but he didn't care. Both of them wanted to stop the game, but he threatened them. Jinty then took out the judge's tools to raise the stakes. Each color box then appeared with symbols of the elements. When Mayu touched the red box, the entire game floor immediately became an ove. Slip and your grilled meat. Luckily, when it was Hera's turn, it was Gree. When he touched it, wind blew up from below like a storm, blowing Mayu's skirt up. But Jinty complained that her childish underwear, one cares about. The wind got stronger and stronger, so Mayu's next move was blue. And this time, it was freezing cold, around -7 degrees. The longer you hold, the lower the temperature. Hera wanted to move his foot to the yellow box, but his whole body was froze. In this situation, Mayu could still think. The scene of the two of them being like the Titanic couple. However, Hera still didn't give up. He still used all the strength of an idol. Performed a twist, person breaking the ice, and successfully touched the yellow box. Thought it was over, but the real game just started. All the boxes except the ones the two of them were holding on to all fell into a deep hole at the same time, sharp spikes below, and their task now is to hold that pose until one of them falls. This is the part Jinty enjoys the most, human nature. Hera didn't like Mayu from the beginning, so he came up with the idea to push her down. Just as he was about to do that, Mayu decided to jump down, simply because Hera saved her. More precisely, his music saved her. She admires Hera very much. Whenever there are difficulties, Hera's music has helped her have more motivation. She knows Hera is involved in a love triangle scandal, but she doesn't care for her. Hera is always the #1 idol in her heart. After saying that, Mayu jumped down, but Hera managed to grab her. He succeeded thanks to the support of everyone, thanks to her encouragement. If he let her go now, wouldn't he regret it very much? However, Hera still couldn't hold her anymore. Hera let go of Mayu, letting her fall freely. At this moment, she knew the reason she died, simply because while taking a bath, she sang and danced, so she tripped on a bar of soap and fell asleep. As for Hera's reason, he deserved it. He used to date a female Fa. However, he soon got bored and broke up with her. But he didn't expect her to choose to die. Because of that later, her sister sent him a bomb for him, blew him up. Mayu fell on sharp spikes, but they were actually just rubber. Jinty thought, making Mayu sad when she thought she was dead. However, she just asked him to get her another set of clothes, because she accidentally peed her pants. As for Hera, he truly regretted it, to let him die so miserably. It's tough, but not even for 3 seconds. Moryu, after changing clothes and going makeup-free, immediately captivated Hera. Indeed, he's such a flirt. Jinty really wants to get rid of these two burdens. After finishing work, Jinty goes to the resting place of the arbiters to chat. He mentions purple hair, but his colleagues don't understand what he's talking about. Later, Desum stops by to buy something. The more Jinty looks, the more irritated he gets, so he leaves first. As for purple hair, she has a strange dream about the boy Jimmy. She walks around the room after waking up. A book on the shelf catches her attention. Coincidentally, it's the story about the boy Jimmy. At this moment, some memories return to purple hair. This is when she realizes she is dead. Curious, she goes to the bar to find Desum, just in time as he returns with the items. She doesn't ask about her own death, but asks about this book. Desum isn't sure where it came from either. He thinks it belonged to the bar's previous owner. Nana led Desum and Jinty to meet Queen, the previous owner of the bar. She is very happy that Desum can replace her so she can go play. At that time, Desem was still inexperienced, so he had to observe how Queen worked. He and Jinty watched two guests playing billiards. Nana gave both of them the arbiter's tools, but throughout the game, Desem didn't use them even once. Only Jinty used them constantly. After the game ended, Queen was very pleased with Desem, so she decided to hand over the bar to him. Nana asked him why he didn't use the tools. Desem only apologized for forgetting. At that time, he was only focused on thinking about what the two guests were intending. Conversely, Jinty didn't need to know what they were thinking. He considered everyone who came here to be bad. Desem immediately retorted, "Not everyone is like that. He has respect for those who have lived out their lives." As for Jinty, he got his head pushed down on the table by Nana. She knew that Desem still couldn't guess what people were thinking, because he had no experience. So, she advised him to use the tools more. People only reveal their true nature when they are pushed to the brink. Whether it's good or bad, their job is still to judge. To ease the situation at this time, Queen gave Desem a piece of advice. Before transferring jobs, do whatever you want, as long as you find what you cherish. Back to the present. Purple Hair asked Desem if he had found it yet. He didn't answer, but led her to the observation room. This place is where he recreates the people he respects into mannequins, as a way to remember them. Purple Hair was speechless looking at him. This is no different from a boy who likes playing with dolls. As for Queen, she went to visit Nana. She complained to Nana about her new job. Queen works in information, and her job is to classify memories. It's not only difficult, but people keep dying constantly, making it impossible for her to take a break. Queen asked Nana how the plan was going, but Nana just remained silent, so she knew it wasn't going very smoothly. Queen criticized the arbiter's third rule, which is not to have human-like emotions. They are puppets. As for Desong, he explained that he had to make these mannequins to store memories, because arbiters have to receive a lot of memories from the people who come here every day. To avoid overloading their brains, they are forced to erase memories to lighten their load. This is unavoidable, and will inevitably make Desem forget some of the guests he cherishes, those who have lived out their lives. He doesn't want them to be forgotten like inanimate objects. Thinking back, Purple Hair remembers Nana criticizing Desem for having a strange hobby, but now it's gone. Purple Hair then decides to cook Desem a meal. Jinty, on the other hand, is getting more and more miserable because Mu somehow still refuses to leave. He tells her to go to the void, but she only asks if it's edible. The kitten he raises also follows her, making him feel betrayed. Not knowing what to do with Mariu, he temporarily locks her in a room. Queen, at this time, is also starting to get drunk. She asks Nana why she pays so much attention to Desem. She thinks he is different. Before, they only had one way to judge. It gradually became too boring for Nana. She wants Desem to be the one to change everything. Nana thinks to herself, what's wrong with an arbiter having emotions? Then she gradually dozes off. Desem, at this time, is enjoying the bread made by Purple Hair. Purple Hair wants him to tell her about the memories of the girl playing the piano over there, but unfortunately, Desem has no memories of that girl left. As for Nana, she has just woken up and is visited by Mr. Lotus. He comes to invite her to play billiards and also to check if there is anything unusual. Nana refuses because she is not free and sends him away. While leaving, he notices the Jimmy book. He remembers this is a book from the living world. Nana pretends to say she likes it to see his reaction, but he only smiles and leaves. Meanwhile, at the bar, while cleaning up, Desem receives the memories of the two upcoming guests. But this time, the memories surprise him quite a bit. So, he calls Nana to ask about it. When she answers the phone, Desem informs her that this time, one of the guests is a murderer. Because Desem has never judged a criminal before, he wants to hand it over to another arbiter to handle. However, Nana says that all the arbiters are currently busy. At the same time, she also advises him to just work as usual. Hearing this, he can only comply. Purple Hair, hearing the story, is also curious to know who the murderer is. At this time, both guests have arrived. This time, it's a boy and a man. Both sit at the bar and are asked by Desem if they remember anything from when they arrived here. The boy only knows that he was about to go somewhere, while the man only knows that he had just left home. Grasping the situation, Decim begins to explain the rules. Of course, like the others, both don't believe it and start walking around looking for an escape route. While the man is walking around, the boy goes to the bathroom to check. Boy wonders what's in the bag he's carrying. When he opens it, he discovers a bloody knife inside. The boy is very panicked. When the man arrives, he quickly hides the knife. After a while of continuing, they have to return to Decim. At this time, the man reveals that he is a detective and warns Decim about illegally detaining people. However, Decim is not scared, but the boy is. Decim doesn't say much either. He shows them the pile of mannequins to scare them. The two go to a corner to discuss a plan. They introduce themselves. The old man is Tatsumi, and the boy is Shima. Agreeing on a plan, they start the game. This time, it's Ioki, purple hair, explains the rules of the game as follows. The two will use their pads to control the disc to score points in the opponent's goal. Each time it goes into the goal, it's 1 point. Whoever gets 6 points wins. Of course, nothing here is normal. Each disc represents a body that is directly linked to both. Red is for Shima, and blue is for Tatsumi. If someone scores with their own disc, it will be doubled. Conversely, if the opponent scores, that person will be deducted 1 point. Then the game begins. The first turn is Shima's. He easily takes a 2-point lead over Tatsumi. When it's his turn, the old man relies on hitting his own disc color and easily equalizes. When the score jumps to 2, Shima's memories begin to flood back. His parents died early, and Shima only has a younger sister left. Both siblings love playing this game. They are very poor, so he had to drop out of school early to take care of your younger sister. Observing from afar in the forest, and still feeling the discomfort of the purple-haired girl, even though she destroyed the judgment tool. The problem she's having is who is the child's killer. People, when pushed to the edge, they dare to do anything. End of the first half with a score of 3-all. The two take a short break. Shima is still worried about the bloody knife in his pocket. Tao and Tatsumi still don't have many memories, so he is currently only investigating where this place is. He asks Shima, "Do you know what the most difficult thing for a detective is?" "Oh," he says. Most of the cases he investigates all contain the deepest emotions of human beings. It's simply the suffering and resentment of the victim's relatives. In a murder case, a person's eyes reflect a part of their mood. However, when he looks into the eyes of the horned guy, it is a deep insensitivity. That makes him even more uncomfortable and wants to investigate more about this place. The second half then begins. And this time, when Shima continues to score, then Tatsumi's memories begin to appear. It was one day when he came home from work. The house was dark. Feeling something was wrong, he went in to check and found his wife had passed away. This shock made Tatsumi lose his composure and had to pause the game. The horned guy observes and says, "This game is far from over." Because when people experience too much shock before dying, so their memories will be buried deeper than usual. The purple-haired girl wants to see both of their memories, but Desong has to ask Nana for permission first, and by Tatsumi, he remembers that his wife was murdered in his own house. Since then, he has been trying to find the killer. He wants to find him and punish him himself. So he needs to leave this place. Tatsumi returns to the game with a more serious state. After he scores an equalizing goal, then Shima also remembers everything. And one day, when he came home from work, he found his younger sister was attacked and bruised. He found out that she had been violated. The police still haven't found any traces. So he also needs to leave this place to kill that bastard. Both have resentment and hatred that force them to we. At this time, the horned guy announces that the regulation time has passed, so he will raise the level of the game to end everything soon. He then switches to emotion connection mode. If one of the two scores with the disc, whatever part of the body it hits, the other person will feel pain right there. And the purple-haired girl, after receiving the memories, realizes that both are murderers. She wants to stop them, but the horned guy can't judge based on memories. They need to consider every corner of human beings before deciding. Tatsumi then scores on the abdome, causing Sima to experience the pie. At the same time, he has remembered some more things. He remembers that he found and killed the culprit. However, his younger sister said there were two of them. Things are not over yet, so Tatsumi wants him to continue playing. This time he scores on the heart. After experiencing the pie, then the uncle also remembers that he has avenged his wife. However, this pie makes the uncle's body unable to continue playing right away. Sima asks the horn guy for help. Of course, the answer is no, and demands that he continue playing. The uncle then feels less pain and continues playing with Sima. The score is now 4-4, so Shima decides to win a 2-point goal to get revenge. He puts all his heart into one shot, while the uncle has already avenged, so he doesn't really fight. Sima scores with a shot to the braai. This time, the detective's memories are complete. At that time, after he took action against the man who killed his wife, he still suspected that the man had accomplices, so he investigated that Perso, the one who violated Sima's sister. And when he came to that person's house to check, he saw that he was dead. The blood was still not dry. More surprisingly, he was attacked from behind. Sima still can't remember what happened. However, Uncle Tatsumi approaches and picks up his knife and just gently says, "So it turns out you were the one who killed me." At that time, after Sima killed the culprit, he was too scared and ran to the bathroom to vomit. Just then, Tatsumi came in to check, thinking he was an accomplice of that person, so he immediately took Actio. But during the fight with the culprit, he was stabbed. Losing too much blood, he also died there. The uncle is quite angry when he used the knife, stained with the blood of that scumbag, to stab him. Sima asks why he came to his house. He just said that that person was related to the person who killed his wife, so he had been monitoring him from a long time ago. Sima realizes if he was monitoring him, then he must have seen him violate his sister. So why didn't he take action to help her then? He simply said he needed evidence to arrest him. To convict someone, there must be a victim. Sima goes crazy and attacks him, but is stopped by the horned guy. He keeps cursing Tatsumi, but he just replies that his sister's sacrifice was necessary. That guy had been following many other girls. If he had stopped him, someone else would have been violated, so he thinks sacrifice is necessary. Anyway, he killed both him and that guy. The horned guy still hasn't determined Sima's motive, so he asks him what he wants to do. He just wants to kill the person in front of him. As he wished, the horned guy tied Tatsumi up. Then he handed the knife to Shima. The dead can't die a guy, but can still experience the feeling of being alive. Just stab any part of the body. The purple-haired girl stops the horned guy because his actions at this moment are no different from Uncle Tatsumi. She thinks everyone must live with the sins they have committed. Everyone has their own suffering. Why force them to the edge and call that judgment? Maybe the horned guy can't understand the pain of the dead, but she can. Everyone has their own emotions. Some are weak and let anger take over. Some are strong and sacrifice for love. The horned guy completely doesn't understand them. He is only trying to pry into their negative emotions and calmly watch them contradict themselves. The purple-haired girl is not happy with his way of doing things. The horned guy listens and starts to feel a twinge in his heart. Uncle Tatsumi thinks that there is no way to help anyone fully understand human beings because everyone has a beast inside their human side. Like in his case, he only crossed the line a little. Right after killing the scumbag who harmed his wife, he no longer felt any hatred or resentment towards anyone. He even heard his wife's voice thanking him. Since he decided to live only to judge others. Then he again thinks that his wife was the sacrifice for that. It helped him find dozens of extremely easy to find scumbags. Sima angrily tries to stab his whole body, but the purple-haired girl stops him. But Tatsumi is not afraid at all. This is the lesson he has for him. To achieve results, there must be sacrifice. This makes Seema even more angry. The purple-haired girl tries to calm him down. The heaven and hell in the horned guy's mouth is just fake. There is only reincarnation, or floating in nothingness forever indefinitely. If you reincarnate, you might have a chance to meet your sister, a guy, the purple-haired girl says. The horned guy is still watching his reaction to make a judgment. If Seema takes action now, he will definitely fly into nothingness and will never meet his sister, a guy. Seema thinks in anger and remembers his poor little sister had decided to stop. Thought everything had ended smoothly, but Uncle Tazumi's laughter echoed. This is the second lesson he has for you. If you can't protect the person you love, then it's better to kill the one who makes them suffer. This world is already harsh. If you can't change the world, then people have to change themselves. After that, Kashima didn't hesitate, but started stabbing him in the brain. Next was the heart, and finally, all the other parts. Tazumi died this time. Seema can now smile, because he avenged his sister. Purple Hair this time was very angry with Dishim and kept punching him, and he just stood there dumbfounded. After a period of thought, Dishim decided to go see Nana. He thinks the way they are doing to make judgments is completely wrong. What they do doesn't make people reveal their true nature, but only helps them create. He always admires people who have lived a full life, so he can't judge them like that. Nana didn't respond to what he said, but only asked him what he would do with Purple Hair. Because her time limit is almost up, the difficulty here is that they can't make a judgment. Because most of Purple Hair's memories have been erased, Nana doesn't think that Dishim will be able to make a judgment for her. If he can't see the dark side of her memory, Nana will send Dishim more, a special guest to him. The rest is up to you. Dishim then returned to tell Purple Hair to prepare to welcome guests. However, she is still angry with him. Dishim noticed that her hands had signs of cracking. At this time, he also told the truth, that human souls are not allowed to exist here. After exceeding the judgment period, they will gradually turn into mannequins. Perhaps it's time for him to judge her. This time, she will play a game with an upcoming guest. At the bar this time, Dishim refused to accept the memory of the upcoming guest, and he doesn't know what game they will play. Later, an old woman came to the bar. After hearing all the rules of the game, the old woman was not surprised and just agreed to play. Then Purple Hair pressed the button, and this time, the game is on. The old woman looked at the picture of the little girl, Cho-Fo. The old woman felt very familiar, but couldn't remember where she had met her. Back to the game. Dishim explained as follows. Take turns choosing the pairs of cards you find difficult and put them on the table. Whoever is the last person holding the card in their hand, the joker will be the loser. However, there is a slight difference, is that the drawings depicted on the cards are related directly to the player. Like this drawing, this is what the old woman drew for a magazine. Then the old woman introduced herself as Sachi. Dishim also introduced himself, while Purple Hair doesn't know her own name. Then the three of them started the game. During the game, Dishim drew a card related to Jinty. Before that, he went to see Jinty to ask about the meaning of the work. Jinty never cared about human emotions. He just does his job right, which is to judge, all good or bad, but to judge or not. While giving advice, that girl behind snores so loudly that he loses all interest. In general, people always forget themselves, will die at some point. Why bother with them? Life has no meaning. They only live to die. The game then continued, but nothing happened. Gradually towards the end, Mrs. Sachi was the first to finish. At this time, she also realized that she was dead. She was not only not afraid of being dead, but she also thanked Dishim for spending time playing with her. When she was alive, she and her husband could not have children, so she always considered the sketches as her spiritual children. She put a lot of effort into them. And now when Dishim brings it back, it helped her remember that wonderful time. Can also see Miss Sachi lived a full life. Then Purple Horn and Hare went to continue the game elsewhere. Nana came to find Kui. Suspicious Rib going helped Nana's plan go better. Oh, she only hopes he knows to develop more on his owl. As for, she came here because she knows Queen still has Purple Hare's memory before it's completely erased, so she needs Queen to find it a guy. It took a while to search in Ha. Closing the memory, Queen found it a guy. Nana saw there were quite a few memories, but Queen thought that was too little. Because Purple Hare died young, Nana asked Queen to arrange the information for her, then sent Queen a bottle of wine from the human world. The game continues, but Purple Hare still doesn't have a single memory back. Later, when she picked the Jimmy picture pair, Miss Sachi remembered. This is a fairy tale book. It's about a boy named Jimmy. Wants to convey his feelings to the girl Chofo, but she is deaf. When you want someone to know your feelings, then we have to use words. That's why the girl Chofo appeared. The author wants the reader to know there are many ways for people to express their feelings to each other besides words. Simple examples like a smile. At this time, Purple Hare remembered a small piece of memory because in the past she often read this book with her mother, and she also remembers her name is Chiyuki. She is very happy because she remembers who she is. Then the game continued, and the loser was Chu. Miss Sachi then left first, and Chu stayed for a while. Before leaving, she had a question. Usually the Joker is the main card, so whoever holds it, in the end, is not the loser, but the winner. After saying that, she left. Chu then asked Rib what her death was like. At Mr. Lotus's place, he called David over. On the surface, he said he wanted to play billiards with him, but in reality, when he wasn't paying attention, he immediately grabbed his head to check his memory of David and discovered what Nana was doing. As for Nana, Queen has finished arranging the memory for Chu. At the same time at Jinti's place, Mayu had the opportunity to meet Hera a guy. However, Jinti reminded her, that's just a soulless body. If you want him to come back, then you have to throw another soul into the void to replace him. He took out a figure and continued. He has found a replacement soul. But Mayu wants to use herself to replace Hera. Jinti reminds her again what the void is like. It's an extremely large space, but there's nothing but darkness. If thrown in there, she will fall freely, indefinitely, forever. The only thing to cling to is the emotions, negative and guilty feelings that the person made while alive. That's why Jinti prepared a replacement for Hera. Him or Hera, choosing lies with Mayu. And Chiyuko has returned to the room, found the ski dancer outfit, along with the skating shoes, because before that, Rib wanted to know what emotions and humans are like. Chu changed clothes and stepped onto the stage that Rib had prepared before. When he received the guest, Chu, the first thing she said to him, that she deserved to die. She knows she is dead, but doesn't know how she died. Rib couldn't convince her to play the game, either. So he had to call Nana over. Initially, Nana wanted to resolve it, but Disan asked to take Chu. So she let Chu be his assistant. For a while, back to the present, Chu has begun her performance. During that process, she began to regain her memory. She had to say she had a happy life. She had a family that always loved and cared for her. From a young age, she loved reading books about Chofo. Seeing Chopper happy, skating on ice made little Chu very excited. So she learned to skate. And gradually, she discovered her talent. She grew up with that skating and won countless awards. And then an incident happened. Once while practicing, Chu accidentally injured her knee. Thought it was a small matter, but the doctor pronounced her. She will never be able to skate a guy. Those words cut straight into her heart. Many people cried for her, yet she felt nothing. She always locked herself in her room and stared at the pile of medals she was proud of, even when her mother came in to advise, but the response was still silence. A silence of extreme pie, and then, until death, she realized that not being able to skate anymore couldn't make her that sad. Because she knew she had many more important things to think about, like family, or friends. At that time, she was so stupid to think because she was good at skating, she had friends. All those friends, or her family, to her, were all strangers because they weren't her, so they couldn't understand. Everything she cherished suddenly became empty. And that was also the time she hated herself. Finally chose to cut her wrists and leave. Chu thinks that people will never understand each other. That not trying to understand people is a mistake. Chu was so upset that she cried. Yet it wasn't until she died that she understood that. In response, Rib repeated Miss Sachi's words. People will laugh when they are happy and cry when they are sad. Expressing emotions doesn't need words. Rib still wants to understand more about emotions, as well as understand more about Chu. He has never lived and, of course, has never experienced death. So the fact that he is always emotionless is because he doesn't know how to express emotions. But somehow, he felt happy to meet her. However, his face was blank when he said that, making Chu lose all emotions. The two returned to the bar to have Rib make Chu one last drink. Before leaving, he made her a memento mori. In Latin, it means, remember that you will have to die, and never forget that day. I will die, so live your best while you still can. After Chu took a sip, she suddenly fainted. The only words she vaguely heard were Rib's apology. Back to Jinty's place. He kept urging her to make a decision quickly and pressed the red Budo. She wanted to know what this guy was guilty of, but Jinty didn't answer, or knowing what Mayu decided. But when Jinty saw them off, they went in the same elevator. Before saying goodbye, Jinty asked Mayu, what is Hera to her? That she has to go this far. To her, he is everything. Jinty asked again, what if he wasn't there? Mayu still doesn't have a reasonable answer. But no one forbids her from living without a purpose. On the contrary, she finds Jinty very pitiful, because she can decide how to live her life. Maybe it's not something to be proud of, but I decided to sacrifice myself to save Hera. She then left with Hera. The bodies of both gradually separated. Mayu could only watch Hera open his eyes, then before she sank forever into the void. And Disong, then he called Queen to ask about Chu's memory. As for Nana, Mr. Lotus came to find her. She doesn't have time for him, but he suddenly used his beard to attack her. Luckily, she still dodged in time. He thinks that it would have been better to turn all the judges into figures. He knows Nana's plot clearly. Giving judges emotions like real people is nonsense. He thinks they should only be puppets forever. Even they themselves were created with puppets. Speaking of it, it's right under her feet. Also, the souls of those thrown into nothingness. And they sit on top of them. Once that blood still flows in the veins. Then the judges. Then, no matter what Nana does, things will never change. A cat will always be a cat, but Nana still thinks things can still change. Because the judges are not puppets. He made a bet with Nana to see if he was right or she was right. After saying that, he left. As for Dee Sung, he led her to the elevator and requested David to take him to the top floor. He didn't question much and did as he was told. Chu then suddenly woke up in her room. She thought she was dreaming, but her hands were still a doll. At this moment, Dee Sung also entered the room. He looked around and asked about the two dolls, Jimmy and Chofu. Chu said that was what her mother made for her when she was little. So she cherished them very much. Chu felt like everything that happened was just a long dream. But Dee Sung said this was reality, and she had passed away for 3 months. She then went around the house where she used to live. Old memories began to return. From when she was young, she often listened to her mother tell stories, the happy family meals together. And she could only stand and look at her own altar at this time. Her mother had returned. Of course, she couldn't see her. Chu asked him why he brought her here. Dee Sung suddenly handed her the judgment tool. He didn't bring her here to see her mother. He said that right now, every hour that passes, 7,000 people die. Life is always a place full of injustice. Some people leave after living their full lives. But there are those who die without understanding why they died in the price of such a life. Sung was able to help her be here like this. And if she uses this, everything about him as well as Queen Sung will disappear, and she will be reincarnated. He hopes she makes a quick decision, because he doesn't have much time left. Just press this, and someone will die in her place. This means her family could also be implicated. But the population is up to 7 billion. Is it possible that it will be her relatives, and for her family? The memory of her death, in the minds of all of them, will be erased. Chu hesitated for a long time and looked at her mother. At this time, she was making Chu's favorite dish. Sitting in front of her daughter's memorial photo, she choked back tears of regret. She wished she could have understood Chu better to help her. Seeing her mother like that, Chu even more wanted to press the button to live a guy. But when she was about to press it, she hesitated. She remembered all the guests she had met. And then, she decided not to press it. She knows everyone always has someone they care about. Even if they are not related to her, then somewhere, there will definitely be someone else important to them. Someone like her mother now. But no matter what, she just wanted to see her mother a guy. Her crying began to tear at Sung's heart. Chu apologized to her mother for everything. She regretted being a bad daughter in her mother's eyes. At this moment, she turned back and begged him to press the button. However, Sung at this time had reached his limit. The space around them began to crack. It turned out, everything was just what Sung set up to judge her. But now, he also experienced the feeling called sadness. He apologized for only being a judge. But Chu hugged him to let him cry out loud. It seems this time Luna won against Mr. Lotus a guy. The deadline has also arrived. Sung sent Chu off on her final journey. Before saying goodbye, Sung promised her he will make sure all the guests who come here leave with a smile on their face. He also forced a smile to say goodbye to her. The door gradually closed, along with the memories that both of them had together. Finally, Sung also smiled sincerely to say goodbye to her. As for Jinti, his cat disappeared after Mariu left. As for Nana, later on, she needs to be more careful because Mr. Lotus Head has his eye on her. And she has also prepared a plan for step 2. Not long after, the next guests arrived. Sung happily welcomed them, and next to him was the doll of Chu. And the movie ends here.